in my school hell video from 2016. Today I decided to elaborate more on what this education fair thingy was about. Why, you ask? Why not? Let's get started. During my elementary and middle school years, I attended two schools in a branch of private schools from the New York Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. The first one, which was closed down due to the lack of budget and students, and the second one, which I will be calling Hope's Peak Academy. Why? Because when I was in the 6th grade, there were enough students in the school, myself included, to do a Danganronpa roleplay. I caught Smoogie! Anyways, I'm going off track. The education fair. It was like an annual event held in the school my brother hates. It was basically like a science fair held in some public schools, but much better because we didn't do the crud some people had to go through when doing their science fair projects. The projects were split in 4 divisions. The kindergartners, 1st graders, and 2nd graders were in Division 1. Their requirements for their project was a neatly organized board that contained pictures and some fun facts about their project. That's it. That's all they needed. Doing my projects in 1st and 2nd grade was a cakewalk for me because all I had to do was look up on Wikipedia a topic about— I'm kidding. In my first school, they wouldn't let little children research on the internet. We had to do it the old-fashioned way. Books. Boo. But I didn't care back then, which is a good thing. Anyways, I read about my project topics and stuck some images I found on Google to this trifold board my mom bought me. When I was in the division, I did a project about puppies in 1st grade, which was a collaboration between me and my childhood friend, Seiko. Our teacher, Chisa, auto-assigned Seiko and me to collaborate on our project, as well as the theme on it. Probably. I was a little kid back then, so I didn't care that I was auto-assigned to collaborate with her. I don't remember the context on why we were chosen to collaborate with each other, but I do remember that Seiko was the only girl I felt comfortable hanging around with. In 1st grade, I had this image in my mind that girls should only hang out with guys, and vice versa, and I didn't know that same-sex couples existed. I think the reason for this is because I grew up with a brother and only a brother, who was my only friend for the first 5 years of my life. Seiko was my first female friend, if you don't count the time I played with a younger child for the first time when I was 5 years old. I think the boy that I felt closest to, besides my brother, was the great Gozu, who was the oldest kid in the school, being in 7th grade. In 2nd grade, I did a project about penguins. This time, I didn't collaborate with Seiko. She did a project on her own, which I barely remember what it was. The 3rd graders and the 4th graders were part of Division 2. The requirements were pretty much the same as Division 1, except we also had to write a 250-word long essay about the topic we chose. Now, I can definitely handle writing a 250-word long prompt, because I have written video scripts longer than that, as proof of this image right here. But when I was in 3rd to 4th grade, it was an absolute nightmare. But thankfully, I managed to pull through. When I was in 3rd grade, I did a project about deserts. In 4th grade, I did a project about God's creation. So I just stole the entire essay through the Bible, and I didn't actually do that. I don't remember what I did. The 5th graders and the 6th graders were part of Division 3. This time we had to write a 500-word essay about the topic we chose. In 5th grade, I did a project about mushrooms. For my essay, I basically just plagiarized an entire site dedicated to mushrooms. Word for word, copy-paste, copy-paste. I didn't even paraphrase it to sound like it was written by me. I just copy-pasted everything. Come on, guys. I didn't know what plagiarism was back then. Don't blame me for it. For 6th grade, I didn't do anything, and I'll explain later. The 7th and 8th graders were part of Division 4. This time, they had to write a 1,000-word essay about the topic they chose. I didn't participate in that one, and again, I'll explain later. If I did, however, I'd possibly die. There is no way 12 to 13-year-old me would possibly write something 1,000 words long. Even if I wrote about Hetalia, it wouldn't surpass 1,000 words. But anyways, those were all the divisions, and now to move on to what I'm going to talk about next. Group projects. Some schools, like Hope's Peak Academy, were way too edgy to participate in the main game, so they did a group project about any topic they chose. They would present it to bypassers during certain intervals of the day. I thought this whole group project thing was super awesome as a kid. During 6th grade, my school attempted to do a group project about rock layers, but failed miserably because we weren't able to get a room assigned to us in time. 7th grade, though, we managed to succeed. I think we were talking about writing a book? I don't know, but I do remember that some of the kids in my school had the choice to make an education fair project about the countries they researched for a project. Me being 13 and a huge fan of Hetalia, thought it was an amazing project. But I did make an education fair project about the country I researched, which is Germany. I regret that decision because it would have been awesome! There was also a ribbon system, awarded to students who passed the guidelines. First place was for the kids who passed all the guidelines. Second place was for the kids who passed most of the guidelines but still needed work on the project more. And third place was for the kids who only passed some of the guidelines. I got first place in all my projects except my mushroom project, which got second. I'm surprised it got second, especially since I plagiarized an entire site through my essay! For some reason, I feel like if I had the courage, I would have made a project about voice acting. That alone, and since I have a passion for it, would be amazing. I'd write up a good essay with the knowledge I know, and I'd get first place. Wait, are you telling me high school graduates can't participate in the education fair? Dang it!
To learn more about Hannah Wright, visit her Discord server or @HannahWright on Twitter.